Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. This message is going to be pretty powerful. I started this, the last 2 days I've watched videos of people that I follow some of the times. It just depends on what they're posting. And the last 2 days, they are talking about how they've been attacked by people following their channel, calling them, whatever, and saying hateful things to them. And I had posted something a while back about another video that I had seen then about a light worker, or I don't, somebody in the awakening process who had bashed another person who was trying to do what she felt she had been called to do. And I said something, I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and I said, it's sad to think we've come this far, and yet we still have so far to go. Because so many people are still in their ego, and they're still judging. And even as far as I've come, I still have moments where my ego wants to kick in. And if somebody said something to me or did something to me or whatever, the ego wants to flare up to protect me and attack. And then the bigger part of me steps in and says, we're not like that anymore. We don't do that anymore. And I shift back into where I'm supposed to be. So none of us are perfect. And this isn't a judgment for anybody. We all have work to do. And it doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter what your belief is. It doesn't matter whether you believe in God, you don't believe in God. It doesn't matter what you call God, whether you call, God has so many names. It doesn't matter. Whether you think God is a 3D man in the clouds, or you think God is an energy, or anything in between. It doesn't matter. The thing is, we need to heal ourselves. And it's funny because I told her, I said, my friend this morning, I said, I don't know what to do. I just wish I could click my fingers and make everything love and light and rainbows and sunshine and unicorns and fairies and, happy. But I know that can't happen. So everybody is on their own path, whatever that is. And I was taking a shower and I was thinking about this, and the song, Jesus, and I hear Jesus is calling. And I was like, oh my God. So I got out of the shower, and there's a few songs, Jesus is calling. And I remember that from church. And I used to love that song when I went to church. And the one, Come to the Altar. And I thought about, and I listened to the song, and it pretty much brought me to tears. But what I do with my work is, and this isn't, again, it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter where you are. Jesus is calling you. Whatever you call it, whatever you think, whatever you feel, Whether you agree with me, you don't agree with me, the world needs to shift. People have gotten angry and hateful and judgmental. All of us have. And that's not where we're supposed to be. That's not what Jesus or God is about. And again, I don't care what you call it. Love, the energy of love, that's not what it's about. And it hit me that with every session I do, because I've done a lot of modalities in healing myself, but I've also gotten certified in theta healing. When I go into a session with someone, I can go in with a thought of how it's going to go. 99 times out of 100, it doesn't go the way I go into it thinking, because I clear me out of the way and I let God do the work, or the creator, whatever you call it. I get me out of the way. I don't know what you need. I don't know what those people needed. But the energy that created them, their creator, them, they know down deep. So in essence, I take them, and this isn't an ego thing on me. It is not. Because again, I just said, I get out of the way. I facilitate the process. I am a conduit for the message from God, and that's it. So in essence, I take them to the altar. They drop their baggage. They heal whatever needs to be healed. And the last couple of months, the first session I had, because when I do a session, I draw from everything that I've learned. God I didn't come here on this journey for nothing, but I've learned along the way. And I use everything. Sometimes I have to pull from other modalities that I've learned or I've been through. And a session a few months ago, the person was having an issue with someone. I can't remember if it was a husband or a family, their father, somebody had passed away and they were having an issue with it. And I was like, in my head, I'm asking God, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. And he said, trust me. I said, okay. So I just did what I was led to do. And they healed that trauma. They healed whatever it was they needed to heal with that person that had passed away. I took them through that process. And it doesn't matter whether it was from a childhood abuse. So there's resentment, there's anger, there's confusion because you don't know why you are the way you are today. And you find out it came from something in your childhood. Or it's a loved one that committed suicide. I've had that too. I went into the session thinking that the person that had committed suicide was angry at the person that was still here. That's not the case. Yes, they were angry, but they were angry because they loved the person they left behind. They wanted that person to be happy. And the person I had the session with wasn't happy. When we got to the creator, God, source, whatever you call it, her message, you always ask, what am I supposed to clear today for my highest and best? Her message was inner peace. That is profound. And not that any other session I've had hasn't been profound, but imagine inner peace. Because she was struggling with all the stuff with his suicide. And it was the most amazing session. And it's just one of many that I've done. And when we got done, I said, "How do you feel?" And she was like, "I feel so much better. And I feel lighter. I feel the energies are gone." Because she knew there were energies in her house. She could sense her ex-husband being there. He's gone. But it was the most amazing session because, again, I do what I'm led. And he wanted her to be happy. Once she got that message, he left. He's at peace now. He wasn't at peace before. So yeah, there was stuff going on in the house. There were things, it was heavy. When I pulled up to the house, I felt it. That's how heavy the energy was. I hadn't even gotten out of my car yet. So the last few months, and this is just one of many of the sessions that I've done recently, that in the last few months, where people have been or have wanted or needed to connect with a loved one that's passed. And this is a hard time of year for a lot of people. So if you're dealing with a situation with someone that's passed, and there's something that you didn't get to say, or you feel like they're haunting you, or you just, I don't know. There's so many. There's so many reasons why someone would want to connect with the other side. Let's do it. Come get to your inner peace. Because we're all fighting something. We all of us. If you don't think you have something to heal, guess again. And I don't mean that as a judgment. That's your ego. Your ego is telling you, "I'm fine. She's crazy." Or it's a negative energy that's telling you. It's that negative chatter in your head telling you that she's crazy. She doesn't know what she's talking about. The negative energies right now are wreaking havoc on a lot of people. That's where all this judgment and blame is coming from. Whether you know you have a negative energy attached to you, whether you think you do, whether you think you don't, it doesn't matter. You may not. If you don't, great, we'll move on. We will still heal whatever needs to be healed. If you do, it will be released. That's what I do. And then heal the trauma that brought it in the first place. Or the negative emotion, the fear, the worry, the guilt, the sorrow, the resentment, anger. Did I say guilt? Shame. Whatever it is, And you may know, you may not know. But when we do a session, when you put your mind or your brain in a state of theta, that is the state like just before you go to sleep. You're not going to go to sleep, so don't worry. I've had people ask me, well, am I going to fall asleep? No. No, you're just in a relaxed state. And you're perfectly safe. And you're perfectly loved. And I can promise you, there is no judgment that comes from me. The things that I've seen, the things that I've heard, the things that I've experienced, the things I've done myself, why in the crap am I going to judge you? I'm not. Because I'm no better than anybody else. So no, when we go into a session and your brain is in a state of theta, your conscious mind, your ego is out of the way. It's out of play. We're dealing with your subconscious mind, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. That's where the answers are. And when we get to that and we clear that, again, I don't do anything. I help you do it. I guide you. God guides me. Because literally every single session I do is different. There is no textbook theta healing session. And my theta healing session is going to be different than anybody else that does it because of what I've gone through, things that I've learned. Most of them don't want to deal with the negative energies. That is my main thing. That's why I'm here. That's not saying you have negative energies, but if you do, it's not a problem. Other people will dance around that or not want to deal with it. That's just one of many things that I do. But like I said, everything I do is guided from a higher being that knows everything. Everything. Again, I don't know most of the people that I work with. I don't know them. They've reached out to me through Facebook or my YouTube channel or a friend, or some of them are people I know, but I don't know what their demons are, for the lack of a better term. What's bothering them? I don't want to say issue because that sounds bad. But again, we all have issues. So whatever is bothering you, if you're not living in peace and you don't have an inner peace, there's something that needs to be cleared. And one of the people that I listened to that was attacked, she made a statement. Or she said, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And when you are blaming someone else for what's happened to you or what they did to you, and you're pointing the finger at them, that person, you did this. She said, you've got one finger pointing at them, but you got 3 pointing back at you. So it's not, yes, they were part of it, but it's you. It's because of you. And only when you're ready to tackle your ego and get it out of the way, most people don't want to take the blame for anything. A lot of people don't want to say, I was told wrong, or my parents taught me wrong, or your parents did the best they could. Whoever you listened to, whether it was a preacher, a priest, whatever, a parent, a teacher, They taught you what they knew. That's it. It may be right. It may be partially right. It may be completely wrong. There's no judgment. But your inner self knows the truth. When you tap into that, you can heal a lot. And it puts you in a better space. It puts you in a freer space. Because if you, like I said, if you're still judging someone else, if you're looking at them and saying, oh, well, I don't know, there's so many things that have caused division. They're white, so they got to be like this, or they're black, so it's because they're black, or it's because they're gay, or it's because they're straight, because they're a woman. God knows I heard that enough. Because it's a man. It's judging. Or you don't like my message, or you don't like somebody else's message. Everyone has an opinion. Or if you're blaming your parents for the way you are, your parents did the best they could with what they knew. It's how they were taught. You can't blame them for how they were taught. No more than somebody can blame you for the way you raised your child, for the way you were taught and your experiences through life. I raised my daughter different than anybody else has raised their child. And they raised their child different than anybody else has raised their child. We all are different people. We all have a different background to draw from. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. It is what it is. But if you aren't happy with where you are in life, now is the time to work on it. Like I said in the beginning of my message, Jesus is calling. This isn't I remember back, I remember back when I joined the church and I was Baptist and I got saved and it shifted my entire life. And I went on a rampage. I couldn't, I wanted to tell everybody how great Jesus was and they needed to be saved or they were going to go to hell. That was what I was taught then. There's more to it than that, I can assure you. If you're living in this and you're not open to more, you were taught what that preacher was taught. There's more to it. Believe it, don't believe it. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to judge you. All I'm going to tell you is if you are set in what you know is all you're willing to accept, and you're not willing to open up to the fact that there could be something different, something more, something bigger, you're missing out. You're missing out. This message, when I say Jesus is calling, Jesus, when you find that he lives in you and you tap into that Christ consciousness that everyone has, your ego is squishing it because it doesn't understand. It doesn't know. Your ego is your mind. Your mind only knows what it's been programmed for. Your heart knows. Your heart knows that Christ is already in you. Bring your worries, bring your baggage, bring your fears, bring your whatever to the altar and leave it. And like I said, that is literally, it didn't hit me until today, that is literally what I do in a session. I never looked at it that way until I got that message getting out of the shower. And it like fell into place. And like I said, that's not an ego thing. That doesn't come from, oh, I'm better, I'm all that in a bag of chips, or I'm the shit. No. I do what I do. And yes, I'm good at it. But I'm no better than anybody else. I just have a different path that I have agreed to follow. Most people would not have accepted this journey. And again, that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. When I tell people my story, they think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But if I have to be crazy to help people heal and feel better and find their inner peace, I'll accept being crazy. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So, like I said, whatever you're dealing with, I don't care what it is. And if you're not sure, because sometimes your ego, we go into a session and I say, what do you want to work on? And people will say, I don't know. Because sometimes your ego is there to protect you. And your ego doesn't want you to get to that fear or that bottom belief, limiting belief, or that trauma. It doesn't want you to relive that trauma. And I'm not telling you have to relive the trauma, but we will clear the trauma. We'll clear the emotions around it, the feelings around it. And only then can you heal. And it puts you in a better place. So, like I said, whether you know what it is you have to heal, it doesn't matter. God knows what you need. And that's not I don't know, God only knows. Literally, God knows what you need. I don't. But I can help you get there. But you have to want to get there. It's like I had a session with somebody and they wanted me to clear somebody else that lived in their house. And I told them, I said, yes, I can do that, but everybody has free will. They have to want to. I said, if they truly, honestly know that they want a better life and they want things to get better, yes, it will work. But if they're doing it just to shut you up or to appease you, it's not going to work. It's just not. It's like when I got saved, my second husband and I we weren't married at that point. We had broken apart. We got back together after I was saved. And I told him, I was like, I'm not marrying anybody that's not equally yoked with me. Because remember, I had just been saved. This is what I was taught. And he joined the church. He got saved. And you can tell by the fruit of the tree. His fruit never changed. It was still sour and rotten. And I remember the preacher told me before we got married, I said, why isn't he any different? He's the same person he was before. And he told me, he said, Pam, he loves you and he will do anything for you. He did it for you, not for him. So, because he did it for me, he really wasn't saved. God knew why he did it. His heart wasn't in it. He did it for the wrong reason. Now, I don't know where he is now. I don't know where he is today. Maybe he did it for the right reason. I pray he did. I pray he's in a better place. But if you have to do it for you, and like I said, the biggest thing, when you're pointing at someone else, judging them, not liking what they said because it didn't set well with you, the three fingers are pointing back at you. Only you can change you. You can't change anybody else. You can't change my opinion if you don't like it. You can try, but it's my opinion. And if you don't like the message, my dad, was it my mom? My dad, it doesn't matter. Growing up, because I had a mouth, in case you hadn't figured that out, the message that I always got was, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Nobody wants to hear Nobody wants to hear you spew your venom. Nobody wanted to hear me say it when I was the old me. Nobody wants to hear it now. I still have moments where, my ego, like I said, wants to kick in. I had a situation the other night. My ego wanted to kick in because somebody had done something, literally threw me under the bus because of their ego. And the ego part of me wanted to reach out to everybody I know and tell them how horrible this person is and how many problems this person has and all that kind of stuff. And then the bigger part of me stepped in and said, why? Where is that going to help anything? These other people love you. These other people enjoy your company. These other people like you. Why do you worry about that other person? Don't entertain their energy. You don't have to hang out with that other person. Hang out with people that you enjoy hanging out with. So I do. So I let it go. So yes, I still fight my ego on occasion. I'm human. Like I said, I'm not better than anybody else. I've just done a lot of work. And I've helped a lot of people do a lot of work. I had a session the other day. It was 4 hours. Most of it, we were just talking. It wasn't the healing session. God has granted me the gift to be able to listen and help people work through their problems, their issues, their whatever, trying to help them figure out why, what's going on. God will channel a message through me for whatever they need to hear. And that's what needed to be done. A lot of my sessions are just, some of it is the clearing work, yes. Whether it's clearing a fear, a limiting belief, a trauma. Psychic attacks, curses, spells, whatever. Demons. Whatever needs to be cleared. Some of it is that, yes. But a lot of times, it's just talking to people and helping them through it. Because there is no judgment here. So whatever they say is okay. They can tell me whatever. And I'm not going to look at them any less. You know, I still send them unconditional love. And I hold a space when you are going through the session and you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with. I hold a space of love, unconditional love for you, and protection. Every single session is phenomenal. Every single person feels so much better, feels lighter, feels clearer. And I'm not making this up. I'm not just trying to get, money or whatever. It's not about that for me. Yes, I get paid for it. But it's not about that. I wish I could do it for free. One day I will. Because that's how powerful it is. The income will come from somewhere. I know that. I know God's got me. But like I said, so it's not about the money. I want to help people. I want to help you get to a better place. So when you're ready to tackle whatever it is you're ready to tackle, there's nothing too big for me to handle. Because again, it's not me. Archangel Michael is my guardian angel. He is standing behind me. Maybe you can see him, maybe you can't. I know he's there. He has always got your back. He's got mine, and he's got yours. There's nothing he can't handle. And God is always there. God is everywhere. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. There's nothing. God's already won. You just have to surrender and let God lead you to the path of victory. It's that simple. Once you agree and you are willing to take that first step. The first step is the hardest. The first step is the scariest. But not one person that's taken that step has regretted it. Not one person that has come out of the session regretted doing the session. Or said, oh my God, I wish I hadn't done that. Or what the hell just happened? No. So anyway, this is not what my original message was going to be today. I'll post that another day. It doesn't matter. This is the message that I was led to give you. For those that choose to hear it. So whenever it gets to you, whether it's today, which is 12/12, a powerful day. If it gets to you today, great. If it doesn't get to you until, I don't know, a year from now or 5 years from now, whenever, it's the perfect time for you. So if you have questions, reach out to me. My email is below. My website is below. Come to the altar. And it can be the physical altar at the church if that's what you choose. Or it can be the altar that I take you to in a session. It doesn't matter. God wants you happy. It doesn't matter what you think, what you feel, you didn't come here to be miserable. You came here to be happy. Yes, you had lessons to learn. We all had lessons to learn. You had a path. But at the end of the day, you're supposed to be happy, not miserable or sad or worried or in fear or whatever. So, I love you guys. I know that's just words. I can't. It's the only way I know to get that message to you. The energy, I don't know if you feel the energy coming off of me. I don't know if you see it. I don't know if you believe it. But there's nothing but unconditional love. So I hope everyone has the most amazing day. And like I said, if you're listening to somebody and you don't like what they're saying, don't listen to them. People, the light workers, the people that are trying to help other people, that's what they do. They do it from their heart. Why do you want to be hateful to them? For the life of me, I don't understand that. I really don't. It's not a judgment thing. For the life of me, I don't understand why. I guess because I'm not in that place anymore. I don't understand all the judgment. I really don't. But it's not for me to understand. So anyway, have a great day. I'm sending you nothing but unconditional love and the offer to help you get to your victory.